It's all just noise. The latest from Podnews.net with Measurement by Magellan AI. A new noise reduction app is now available on the Mac App Store. It's called Hush, and it uses AI to remove background noise and reverb from spoken audio with, says the developer, greater precision and fewer artifacts than previous approaches. Spotify is rolling out a special experience for those observing Ramadan. The daily changing geo-personalized tool includes Ramadan-specific podcast episodes, as well as music. YouTube has confirmed our story, or guess, yesterday, that podcast creation and analytics tools in YouTube Studio are now rolled out to all creators. Confusingly, those tools are still described as a test by YouTube, but we're told it's a full rollout. Maximum Fun, a podcast network, is to become a worker-owned co-op after founder Jesse Thorne sells the company, and Nina Robinson from the Birmingham Podcast Festival is interviewed by Pod Bible. We link to that today from our show notes and our newsletter at podnews.net. In People News, Tyler Moody has been named as Director of Digital Content for Cox Media Group's radio division, while at CNN he was the creator of the Warner Media Podcast Network. Harry Shapiro, the host of NPR's All Things Considered and Consider This, is releasing a book this week. It's called The Best Strangers in the World, Stories from a Life Spent Listening, and Spotify has released a playlist and interview. And Adam Schein has signed a new 4-year deal with SiriusXM. He'll continue hosting the Rise and Shine podcast, as well as present a 3-hour daily show on SiriusXM Radio. And in podcast news, Marco Arment, the developer of Overcast, is interviewed by The Verge in The Vergecast this week.
I think what sets Overcast apart today is it is designed by a podcast lover for podcast lovers, and it puts your needs above any kind of weird data analytics, tracking, promotional algorithm kind of stuff.
Production company This Is Distorted has produced a podcast series entirely designed and created by artificial intelligence. The show's called Synthetic Stories. Even the show name was designed by AI, and episode 1 is available now. In their podcast, The Tip Jar, we learn what the Jar audio team learned at Podcast Movement. AI features heavily in that too. The final episode of the 3-season podcast Equal Parts is posted today. Each episode tells the story of a couple meeting and falling in love. However, with the last episode comes potentially a first, an exhibition of artwork from the show, which will be at Curb Wine Bar in Ancoats in Manchester from the 6th of April to the 9th of May. As any self-respecting European knows, this year the Eurovision Song Contest will be held in Liverpool in the UK. 12 Points was launched this week, hosted by TV magazine journalist and Eurovision superfan Stephen Perkins. You can expect the latest headlines, events, previews and deep dives into the history of the contest. And Hear Me Out is brand new from Slate today, hosted by veteran radio host Celeste Headley, who has devoted years to reinvigorating the art of civil conversation and debate. Each week, she'll invite a thoughtful guest to discuss their controversial perspective on a current issue and engage in a tough, good faith dialogue about the merits and drawbacks of their argument. This podcast is sponsored by Measurement by Magellan AI. This thing is on podcast advertising attribution and delivery verification from the leaders in podcast ad data. Find out more at magellan.ai/measurement. And that's the latest from our newsletter. To read all the stories and subscribe, we're at podnews.net.